What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Matt B. I review running shoes here on YouTube. And today we're taking a look at the latest update of the ASICS Nimbus, the Nimbus 26. Now the Nimbus 26 is a premium plush daily trainer. And we all know that ASICS made some big changes to the Nimbus last year. And then this year for the 26, they've refined that design. So let's get into it. Guys, first off, let's get some disclosures out of the way. Roadrunner Sports was good enough to send me a pair of the Nimbus 26 for the purpose of review. However, they have no editorial control over this video, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. With that in mind, the ASICS Nimbus 26 will cost you $160. Now, I did say this was a max cushion shoe, and I wasn't joking. The Nimbus 26, at least in the men's version, has 42 in the heel, 34 in the forefoot, and the women's version has 41 in the heel, 33 in the forefoot, both for an 8mm drop. ASICS claims that a US men's size 9 tips the scale at 10.7 ounces or 305 grams. However, in my size, a US men's size 13, it tips the scale at 13.2 ounces or 373 grams. Now, this is a very slight increase in weight over the Nimbus 25, but we also have just a little bit more stack height in the 26 over the 25, half a millimeter to be precise. Now, ASICS continues their environmental transparency with the Nimbus 26, and the carbon footprint of this shoe is 25% lower than the industry standard. And much like other ASICS shoes, you're going to see the carbon footprint printed just inside where your heel goes. And in this case, the Nimbus 26 has a carbon footprint of 10.8 kilograms of CO2. And I think when they're giving that number, that is the carbon footprint over the life of the shoe. But let's get into the materials. And we're going to start at the top and work our way down. And we're going to start at the heel collar. And we have a lovely knit heel collar. It's very thin right at the top. And then there is a big plush bolster just on the inside. Now this bolster padding continues all the way around the heel. And it just creates a very nice step-in feel. Padding around the heel collar really locks in your heel nicely. Now we do have a very rigid heel counter, which is what we would expect with a plush daily trainer. And with these two things combined, I didn't have any heel slip. We've also got an oversized knit heel pull right here, which I think looks good. I've actually used it to pull the shoes on just because it's so big and so fat. It's just inviting for me to stick my finger in and pull my shoe on. The upper is a very soft engineered knit. When I say soft, it reminds me that this is what we're looking at when we want to be comfortable and go out for a run. From the second you put your foot in the shoe, it just kind of envelops your foot and the upper sits very nicely against it. Now this lovely soft engineered knit feeling sounds good when I describe it as being so soft. It does look very airy. In fact, there seems to be a lot of holes right here in the toe box, just giving it an appearance that it's very breathable. However, in my experience, that wasn't exactly the case. I found this shoe to run quite warm. Now, I should remind you all that I do live in Florida and we've been having unseasonably warm temperatures. And on this morning's run, before I sat down to make this review, I went out, I ran 10 miles in it. It was about 74 degrees Fahrenheit and gosh, 99% humidity. It was very, very sticky. I came back from that run, and by the way, it was a very easy run, but I came back from that run, I had to stuff it with newspaper to soak up some of that excess sweat. Now it's still feeling a bit damp. But honestly, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Hopefully, for me here in Florida, we're going to be getting some cooler weather soon, and then the slightly warmer knit upper isn't really going to make any difference. But of course, if you live in a colder climate, this could really benefit you. It's going to keep your feet nice and warm on those easy runs on very cold days. In fact, I don't really think it's a negative at all. The more I think about it, I think it comes down to that old adage about there not being any bad weather, just bad clothing choices. And I think when it is very warm and very humid, perhaps a shoe with a knit upper isn't the best choice. But still, this knit upper, can't really complain because it's so super comfortable. Now the tongue is also knit and it's very stretchy. It feels like it's almost like elasticated, but it's really not that elasticated, and it is gusseted on both sides, and you do get a nice midfoot lockdown. Now the midfoot lockdown is actually one of the changes that ASICS has made over the Nimbus 25. But full disclosure, I didn't actually run in the Nimbus 25, so I can't compare it directly, but I can say that the lockdown I had in the Nimbus 26 was more than adequate. It was very comfortable. There is also a lace loop right here on the top of the tongue, and that just contributes to keeping that tongue in place, right where you want it for the entire run. Now, when the shoe was on my foot, I did have a feeling that the tongue was quite long. Now, if I hold this up, you can see how the tongue comes up quite a bit. Now, when it was on my foot, it felt like I could pull the tongue, kind of stretch it out a bit, so it came up a little higher than I'm used to in some other shoes. And again, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I didn't notice anything bad come from it, but I did notice that the tongue was just a little longer than I was expecting. Let's come down to the midsole, because ASICS is using their Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco, and it's a super plush foam, and the eco part of it indicates that it's made with up to 24% of bio-based materials. So again, ASICS is just doing their bit to help the environment. Right in the heel, we do have some some pure gel, and I'll remind you what ASICS says about pure gel, but it is lighter and softer than conventional gel. Me, personally, I don't know what conventional gel is, but I certainly don't want to try it now that I've had pure gel, which is softer and lighter, but it's just like a little bit of gel right in your heel, and that's just going to contribute to an extra soft landing. And I gotta say, it feels pretty good. I don't want to knock it just because the idea of putting gel into a shoe seems a little bit funny, but it works. The shoe feels very comfortable when I'm running on it. So pure gel for the win. Then let's come down to the outsole, and this is another place where ASICS has made some changes. We're now using the hybrid ASICS grip, and the hybrid ASICS grip is a blend of AHR Plus and ASICS grip. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that means because we do have the hybrid ASICS grip branding right here, and then we've got the AHR Plus branding right here on the back. Now, traditionally, ASICS has always put their AHR rubber here on the lateral heel edge, because this is just a little more resilient, stands up to a little more punishment, and it's going to make these shoes last a lot longer. But apparently, the hybrid ASICS grip is going to cut some weight and just provide great grip in all circumstances. Now, surprisingly for me, I was able to take this shoe out on a wet day, and the shoe stuck to the road like a champ. Now, when I do go out and I test shoes, I do tend to scuff my feet a little, don't have the chance to run in any snow or any ice, so when it gets wet, I like to take advantage of it and test out the grippiness of the outsole rubber. No complaints on the hybrid ASICS grip. Same with the wear. So far, this hybrid ASICS grip is looking very good. In fact, I've got to say, at the making of this video, I think maybe 55 kilometers in this shoe, and I actually don't think I'm seeing any wear at all, which is good because 55 kilometers in the life of this shoe isn't really much. And when you're paying $160 for a premium daily trainer, you're probably going to want it to last for a minute. But yeah, very impressive at the lack of wear. Okay, so let's talk about ride, because I did say that this was a premium plush daily trainer, but it's a daily trainer on the slower end of the spectrum. The ASICS Nimbus 26 is that shoe that you're going to want to go out for most of your miles at an easy pace, your recovery runs, your easy runs. Then when it comes time to pick up the pace, you're probably going to want to change into something just a little lighter, maybe something a little firmer, just to help promote that speed, at least feel a little faster. And while there are some daily trainers out there that I think do a pretty good job at crossing over in allowing you to both run easy and have the shoe feel good and pick up the pace and still have it feel good, the Nimbus 26 is not one of those shoes. I think this shoe is firmly staying in its lane of a recovery easy day shoe. And that's definitely not a bad thing. We want specificity. We want the best shoe for every run that we do. But when I do go out for these easy runs, I am thrilled at the soft ride. There is a rocker, and the Nimbus 26 flows from heel to toe very nicely. And when I come back from a run in the Nimbus 26, my body's feeling really good. I mean, really, your body should be feeling good after you come back from an easy run, but the shoe and the plush ride really contributes to that. Now, just a note about the Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco. I've been calling it a plush ride, and it certainly is, especially when you consider all the padding and this nice soft knit upper. But it's not plush as in too plush or too soft. The Flight Foam Blast Plus is firm enough where it's not making you feel tired, or maybe not tired, but it's not taking undue energy from you. Does that make sense? So while in the right conditions, and I mean cold conditions, I could very happily take this shoe out and do a 20-mile run. I don't often feel that way in a shoe that is a lot softer. So with that in mind, I think the Gel Nimbus 26 is a pretty solid shoe for a daily trainer, especially if you like running a little longer. If you're training for, say, a marathon, you need to get these long, easy runs in, the Nimbus 26 is actually going to feel really good on your feet. Oh, and when you're done, I think the Nimbus 26 is actually one of those shoes that adapts perfectly to a second life. So when you're done putting in your run miles into the Nimbus 26, this is a shoe that transitions well to doing everything else, you know, like a lifestyle shoe. The shoe that you just put on to go to the shops. And that's mainly because it is just a crazy comfortable shoe. And then of course, when you're done with that life, this can easily be the shoe to transition into like gardening or mowing the grass. Because remember, this is a premium daily trainer, and premium means it uses nice materials, it's well built, it feels solid in your hand. The shoe is going to last you a long time in several different scenarios. So guys, I'd love to hear from you. Have you run in any of the Nimbus? Did you run in the Nimbus 25? Or are you thinking about picking up a pair of the Nimbus 26? Let me know in the comments. And with that, it's Matt B. This has been my review of the ASICS Gel Nimbus 26. Be kind, be happy, run well. I'll see you in a couple of days.